Welcome back. Before we start, I want you to picture something simple. A glass of water sitting on a table. If you shake it, it spills. If you leave it still, it stays clear, and you can see straight to the bottom. Most people go through life as the shaken glass. Today, I want to show you how to become the still one. This is not a video with 5 quick tips that disappear from your memory by tomorrow. This is not 10 minutes of hype with no real change behind it. This is something deeper, something that can actually reshape how you move through the world. Because the real difference between a life that feels heavy, light often comes down to one single skill: how you respond when something tries to knock you off balance. Look around. People provoke you because they want a response. They go quiet on purpose because they want you to chase them. They twist the truth because they want to watch you unravel. And most of us fall for it every time. We answer instantly. We answer loudly. We answer from our chest instead of our mind. And in that instant, we hand over something we can never fully get back: our peace, our composure, our power over our own story. The painful part is that most people never even notice how much of their life gets quietly demolished by their own quick reactions. A single comment that ended a friendship. A single late-night message that closed a door forever. A single flash of anger that changed the direction of an entire relationship. So I'm asking you to slow down right now and really listen. Because if you take what I'm about to share and actually live by it, you won't just get through hard moments. You will become someone difficult to shake, calm, grounded, clear-headed, steady. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop handing your mind over to every person and every moment that wants to control it. This isn't only for people chasing success. This is for anyone exhausted by being yanked around by their own emotions. This is for anyone ready to finally hold the wheel of their own life again. Stay until the end, and you'll walk away understanding a kind of inner strength that most people search for their whole lives and never quite find. And while we're at it, this video is also built to strengthen your English. The words are simple. The sentences are clean. You're not just training your mind to stay calm. You're training your ear and your tongue at the same time. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Every reaction you give away is a small piece of control you lose. When one sentence from someone else can flip your entire mood. When a single dismissive look can ruin your whole afternoon. When you allow someone's opinion of you to decide how you feel about yourself, not steering your own life anymore. Someone else is holding the wheel, and you didn't even notice the handoff. A lot of people believe that responding instantly is a sign of confidence. It isn't. Quick, unfiltered reactions usually mean the opposite: that you're easy to push, easy to pull, easy to operate like a switch. Every time you fire back without thinking, you're handing over something valuable: your clarity, your energy, your sense of control. Ask yourself honestly, how many good days have you ruined because you snapped before you thought? This is a quiet kind of captivity. There's no visible chain on your wrist, but your mood is still being operated by people who may not even think about you 5 minutes later. And the hardest part is that most of us don't notice this pattern until we look back and count the damage. Here is an example. A young woman named Hannah worked as a junior designer at a small studio. She showed up early every day and genuinely cared about her work. One afternoon, in front of the whole team, her supervisor dismissed her project with a sharp, unfair comment, something that wasn't even accurate. In that moment, something in her snapped. She raised her voice and argued back, louder each time. The room went still. Her supervisor said nothing, simply nodded and moved to the next meeting. From that day, people didn't remember Hannah as the careful designer who delivered great work. They remembered her as the one who exploded in the meeting. One reaction undid years of quiet effort. She didn't come out ahead. She came out smaller because she let someone else's careless words decide how she'd be remembered. The solution: the 5-second pause. Here is what people with real inner strength actually do. They wait. The next time someone tries to provoke you, a sharp comment, a lie, a cold silence meant to unsettle you, don't speak yet. Don't move yet. Just breathe. In for 5 seconds. Out for 5 seconds. In that small window, You reclaim the one thing that belongs only to you, your control. Something shifts in that pause. The heat starts to drop. The urgency starts to fade. Your mind switches from burning to thinking. You can still say something afterward if it's needed, but now your words will carry weight instead of regret. Your next move will come from wisdom, not from wounded pride. This single habit, repeated enough times, can reshape your relationships, your career, your family life, everything. Because choosing not to react in the heat of the moment isn't weakness, it's quiet, undeniable strength. Lesson 2. Most things we regret were never really decisions, they were reactions. There are moments we'd erase if we could. One sentence said too fast, one message sent in anger, one decision made from fear instead of thought. These are the moments that stay with us for years, long after everyone else has forgotten them. Notice this carefully. You rarely carry the original insult for long. What you carry is how you responded to it. You don't replay the mistake itself nearly as much as you replay your own outburst when it happened. People love to believe that fast, emotional reactions are honest and real. But the truth is simpler. Fast reactions usually come from old pain, not from present strength. We raise our voice when we feel small. We blame others when we feel powerless. We strike out when we feel hurt. And then once the moment passes, what's left behind? Guilt, embarrassment, the quiet wish that we'd just stayed silent for 30 more seconds. Think about how many relationships might still be intact if one moment had been handled with a little more patience. There's a story I think about often. Two brothers, Imran and Sami, had been close their whole lives, the kind of close where you finish each other's sentences. At a family dinner, Sami made an offhand joke that landed on an old wound from their childhood. Imran didn't pause. He stood up and said things in front of the whole table that weren't even fully true, shaped by years of buried frustration, not by that one joke. The table went silent. Sami left early. Weeks turned into months, and the relationship was never quite the same again. Years later, Imran would look at an old photo of the two of them as kids and feel a heaviness in his chest, not because of what Sami had said, but because of how he himself had responded. The solution: train yourself to respond instead of react. This isn't a one-time decision. It's a habit you build, the same way you'd build any muscle. When something painful happens, repeat this to yourself. This feeling is real, but my reaction is still a choice. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it may be unfair. Yes, every part of you wants to lash out. But pause anyway. Let your body go still. Let the emotion rise and pass through you without controlling your mouth or your hands. Name what you're feeling instead of acting on it. Ask yourself, is this really about what just happened? Or is this an old wound being reopened? Give it 10 minutes, an hour, a full day if you need it. Then respond with honesty, with steadiness, with intention. This single habit can protect relationships, protect your peace, and protect the version of your future you actually want. Reacting might feel powerful in the moment, but peace is the stronger force, and peace never leaves regret behind. Lesson 3. Quiet is not surrender. Quiet is often the loudest form of strength. The world is addicted to noise. Everyone wants to argue their point, defend their position, prove they're right. But here's something most people overlook. The strongest people in any room are rarely the loudest. They're the ones who don't feel a need to convince anyone of anything. People misread quiet as fear. They assume that if you don't fight back, you must be scared, or guilty, or weak. The opposite is usually true. It takes far more discipline to stay composed than to shout. It takes more wisdom to step away from an argument than to win it. It takes real strength to hold your tongue exactly when every nerve in your body wants to let it loose. Silence keeps your next move private. Nobody knows what you're thinking. Nobody knows whether their words landed or missed completely. And that uncertainty, that quiet, is its own kind of power. Here's an example. A man named Tariq was the target of a coordinated smear campaign by a former business partner. Fabricated messages, doctored screenshots, a whole narrative built to damage his name. Everyone expected him to fight back publicly. He didn't say a word. Friends called him passive. Strangers online called him guilty. He stayed quiet through all of it. Months later, the truth surfaced on its own. Someone else exposed the fabrication, with proof Tariq never needed to provide. What had looked like weakness was suddenly seen for what it actually was: restraint and quiet confidence. While others were busy shouting, he had already won. The solution: treat silence as a tool, not a retreat. You are not required to answer every insult thrown your way. You don't owe an explanation to people who have already made up their minds about you. You don't need to post, message, or defend yourself to feel whole. Sometimes the strongest move available to you is simply saying nothing at all. Here's how that looks in practice. In conflict, say, "I hear you," and step away. Don't argue your case point by point. In drama, don't add your voice to the noise. Step back and let the situation reveal itself over time. When someone disrespects you, resist the urge to explain or cry or shout. Hold their gaze, stay calm, and say nothing. People notice, and when they do, you've already won. Not by fighting harder, but by simply rising above the need to fight at all. Stay with me, because this next part might be the most important one in the entire video. Lesson 4. Not every battle is worth your energy. One of the costliest mistakes a person can make is treating every disagreement like a war that must be won. Defending yourself in every argument, replying to every message, proving your worth to every critic with an opinion. It sounds admirable, but in reality, it's one of the fastest ways to drain your focus, your peace, and your future. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves a reply. Not every misunderstanding needs your emotional investment. You only have a limited amount of energy each day, and every bit you give to the wrong situation is energy you no longer have for the things that actually matter. Give your energy to gossip, and you'll have less for your goals. Give it to resentment, and you'll have less for the people you love. Give it to whatever drains you, and you'll wonder later why you feel hollow by the end of the day. Some people don't want your reaction because they care about your perspective. They want it because watching you get rattled feeds something in them. They're not after resolution. They're after drama, and if you keep stepping onto their stage, you'll never have time to build your own. Take Maya, a second-year university student, sharp, hard-working, the kind of person who stayed up late finishing assignments early. One semester, a rumor spread that she had cheated on an exam. It wasn't true, but it traveled faster than the truth ever could. People whispered. A few friends quietly distanced themselves. Maya was furious and hurt, so she spent weeks writing long explanations online, replaying conversations in her head late into the night. Her grades slipped. Her motivation disappeared. Years later, reflecting on that semester, she said something that stuck with me. I didn't lose because of what people said about me. I lost because I poured all my energy into something that was never going to change their minds anyway. The solution: guard your energy like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Build a simple mental filter. Ask, does this actually deserve my energy today? If it doesn't make the list, let it go. You're not here to win every small argument. You're here to build a life. Stop explaining yourself to people who've already decided not to understand you. Your words won't move them. Save your responses for conversations where real growth is actually possible. If a conversation isn't going to help you move forward, it's just a trap dressed up as an opportunity. This isn't avoidance. This is wisdom. Peace doesn't come from winning every fight you're pulled into. It comes from knowing exactly which fights were never worth entering in the first place. Lesson 5. The person who stays steady usually ends up the one who wins. People trust those who remain composed when everything around them is falling apart. Calm people make clearer decisions. They build stronger relationships. They tend to live lives with less unnecessary chaos. Why? Because staying calm means staying in possession of your own clarity. It means you can actually see the situation instead of just reacting to the fear inside it. It means you naturally become the steady point in any room, even without saying a word. Most people move through life like a storm, yelling, panicking, blaming, reacting, and then wonder why nothing in their life feels settled. The person who can stay still becomes the opposite of the storm, the calm that makes it lose its grip. Staying calm doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you've learned to hold that pain with steadiness instead of letting it spill into panic. Here's a story worth remembering. On a crowded bus one evening, a passenger boarded clearly upset, shouting at no one in particular, shoving past people, looking for any excuse to start a confrontation. The bus grew tense. A few people argued back, but one elderly woman sitting near the back stayed completely still. The agitated passenger eventually stopped in front of her, almost daring her to react. She simply looked up and said gently, "Whatever happened to you today sounds like it was really hard. I'm sorry." The man froze. His shoulders dropped. He sat down a few seats away, quiet for the rest of the ride. The entire bus had been changed by one calm voice that refused to match his volume. The solution? Build calmness like a discipline, because it doesn't come naturally to anyone. You have to train for it the same way an athlete trains for competition. Breathe deeply and often. It isn't just a relaxation trick, it's a genuine tool for clearer thinking. Observe before you speak. Let people reveal who they are through their own actions, then respond with intention instead of emotion. Before reacting, ask yourself, am I about to act from truth or from pain? If it's pain, wait. If it's truth, go ahead. Practice staying calm in small daily irritations. Spilled coffee, a delayed bus, a rude comment in traffic. These ordinary moments are your training ground. The more you practice composure in small storms, the steadier you'll be when a real one arrives.